Anybody know what's going on? I just came here. Bashir, I thought I heard the Rosh Yeshiva. He came or he didn't come? Oh, there he is. We're having technical difficulties, I see.
Shmaya. Today we'll continue on to learn the Birka Shmuel, but there's some changes which I'm going to do in the yeshiva. Bezrat Hashem, I'm not going to give any more the shir in the mornings. I'm not going to give the shir in the morning for everybody. I'm going to regather the groups in the yeshiva to 3 groups or 4 groups, and each group is going to have a shir for me an hour and a half privately, that group. A week. And that's all they're going to get. Again, I'm going to divide the yeshiva boys, the yeshiva, the 3 or 4 groups, depends the groups we have. Depends, beginners, more advanced, Spanish boys. Each one is going to have his own day. And I'm not going to teach half an hour, I'm going to teach an hour and a half. That group specifically, personally. Could be more. Let's see, from 9:45 to 11:30. The rest, the teacher or will teach that group. On Thursday, I'm going to give a shiur globally, general shiur, which is a review of all the points, but not to the yeshiva boys. All the people continue to learn Thursday with the Rebbe themselves. We are Musa Shmus at 120, everybody will join. And I'll teach the Avrechim Nan and Besmedesh. I'll teach in a side room. So then a shiur room and all the yeshiva can continue on learn the groups 5 days a week. Friday, everybody's demand, all the boys are demand to come to yeshiva to learn. There's no free Friday. There's no Black Fridays. All Fridays are white and shiny. Learning Friday too. Friday is not a free day.
Pinkas, Yom Chamishi. Yom Chamishi.
Yom Chamishi will be a shiur korli to the guys from Meitzah, any advanced rabbis that or students that feel that they can understand advanced shiur, they can come on Thursday. But I'm not going to give it in a public place in order to bother others. I'm going to give it in a side room. From
11:30?
11:30 to 11:30 to 1:30 to 1:20. Then I'll give him Musa. I'll go into the main room, give him Musa Shmuz to everybody. Everybody should join him. Everybody must join all the Musa Shmuz. You don't join the Musa Shmuz, you're not part of the yeshiva. You're out. Number two is everybody in the yeshiva must review the Masech of the yeshiva 4 times. Which means, let's say you're in a shiur which is not advanced. So you learn a quarter of an hour, 5 lines. You have to learn it with a rabbi every word, whatever he's learning, 4 times. There's no yeshiva in the yeshiva that in my yeshiva is not going to review 4 times what he learns. And the main scope of the yeshiva has to be that everybody learns the whole Masechet. Beginners are not going to be able to, or they do it in English, or Spanish, whatever the language they come from. But I demand every bocher in the yeshiva to review the Masechet 4 times. Demand. It's not a privilege. It's not a stipend. This is what the yeshiva is doing. Otherwise, you're out. I give more stipend and more way. That's in a positive way. I'm talking about in a negative way.
All the Masechet 4 times.
Yes.
Everything you learn.
Yeah. Or if you cannot do all the Masechet, because your group are not advanced, so whatever you learn with them, Bekiyas and Masechet Kiddushin or whatever, learn it 4 times. There's no such thing in the yeshiva learning once and that's it. And when we learn the Iyun, everybody is involved in Iyun. Now, even beginners, let's say beginners cannot learn Iyun Gemara, so the half an hour, you got to live with some ideas. You have to get a freedom from your Rebbe to let you come. To get an exemption from your personal Rebbe to let you come on Thursday to the private shiur, because it's really for advanced shiur. Only advanced. Yes. Yeah. Nothing other. That's why we have the papers. People can follow the papers with chavrusas or Rebbes, and we're going to grow from that. That's all. That's the bottom line. Okay. So let's do the Birkat Shmuel. What happened to Birkat Shmuel? Ran away from you? Where's the Birkat Shmuel? Aleph? Who took it from you?
It's on the sheets.
It's on the sheets, but I also had it here. I had the Birkat Shmuel here. How can we be in the Diaspora Yeshiva without Birkat Shmuel, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You have use this. What? I can't hear what you're saying. Half a day, sure, half a day. Half a day. People have to learn Friday too. Sure. No. Okay. So I'm reading here. We're going to have to restructure the yeshiva. It's not probably going to happen in 1 minute. But this is my goal. That's why I'm give a shiur. My goal is we're going to do that. So the first real change that I'm going to do is I'm not going to teach in the morning from 9:45 for a few reasons. First of all, not all the boys come in. So I'm in my mind as if I'm teaching the whole yeshiva and I expect everybody to enjoy it. A lot of boys are not here. They're losing my main present gift that I'm giving to the yeshiva, which is the iyun. And a lot of boys don't get it. Only a few boys which have an interest and they want to put energy. So the Avrechim get it from Meitzah and some other rabbis that involved. Some good boys that really put energy in a little bit advanced or want to be advanced in the shiur. All the rest are not involved. They're floating around. It's not good. Everybody has to be part of the iyun. This is yeshiva, it's not a mismedrash. All the rabbis have to learn the same thing, what I teach. And if not, they cannot be part of the yeshiva. Finito. Finish. The story is finished. Not learning, doesn't matter who you are and what you are, which rabbi you are. You can be my brother, you can be a rabbi here 40, 50, 60 years. You have to learn what I teach. I'm the Rosh Yeshiva. If you don't know what I teach, you're out. You're not part of the group here. That's it. Everybody has to be one group. Must learn. Maybe there's a charik, maybe guy, I don't know. I'm just saying, in concept, that's what I want. Not always I can do what I want, but that's what I want. This is what I think is the right thing for the yeshiva. You learn every day.
Oh, it's not stopping.
No, it's not stopping. Instead of me teaching you every day the page and go through the pages, you're gonna have a chavrusa, you're gonna have a personal rebbe that will teach you the papers. And now you're gonna have a personal shiur with me on the papers, an hour and a half a week only. Not 45 minutes every day, an hour and a half once a week. And I'll give a shiur clearly if you get exemption from your rebbe that he feels you develop. And you can understand, and he gives you the permission, you can come to shiur clearly, to be in a side room just on Avrechi. Advanced rabbis. Understand? That's all. It's like this. I'm not going to make the change unless everybody's organized. I have to make sure that everybody has a way to learn those sheets. Havrusa, personal rebbe, a group rebbe. Understand? Or depends who you are and what you are. That's Rabbi Reuben doesn't have to organize and help him to organize. They don't have to organize. Everybody has to be involved. That's what I want to do. There was 2 periods of time where I saw my father, this is memory used to do. One period of time was that he divided yeshiva into groups and he gave each group a shiur. Then on Thursday he gave a shiur klali. They had still the same problem. And when he gave shiur klali, the unadvanced students got lost. So kind of so you had to make the shiur klali, but a big chunk of it was a musar shmuz. So at least they enjoyed the musar. There was a period of time they didn't give groups. He gave only once a shiur and once a shiur there, a couple of shiur, twice a shiur. You know what I mean? Well, I was thinking, what's the best way? This is something I want to do now on Shrine Yeshiva. I think it's a good way. What?
During the time I was here, 11 years, he gave shiur almost every day, whenever he could.
Yeah, but the division of the yeshiva to groups, and each day he gave a different shiur to a different group that he did for most of his life.
Well,
Right?
yeah, speak to
Yeah, once a week. Good. Let's go on. This is the facts, and I want to organize B'ezrat Hashem. To do it, everybody's going to know which shiur belongs to, which rebbe, which chavrusa. It's organized, and you have to be part of that. You hear that, Jonathan? That's it.
starting tomorrow.
My father,
With
Mrs. Memory says, I don't know, I'm organizing, I've said my wish. I wrote down in my piece of paper what I want, and many things. I want to fix all the dorms, all the whatever. I have a whole plan when I want to get together. So I'm thinking I'm spending 10 years, or 9 years already since my father was nifton, and I was dreaming that by this time will be 400, 500 Talmidim in yeshiva. I don't see it happening. I have to change. I have to think. I have to change the structure. A lot of things has to be changed, and I know what needs to be done in order to be a structure, to be a school. It's not a bismedesh, it's a school. It's not a bismedesh, it's a school. That's it. It's a school, going to yeshiva, we train people to become Talmidei Chacham. That's all. So you have to fit in line. I give flexibility. You can learn other things on the side time, on your time, on extra time. The rabbi teaches beginners, you teach them Chumash, Musa, whatever he wants to teach them. Oh, it's okay. That's an addition. It's not the skeleton of the yeshiva. You hear that, Jonathan? The skeleton of the yeshiva is Iyun. With half an hour, because that's all you can, your capabilities, 45 minutes, and you have to be part of a shiur once a week that I dove at least an hour and a half. It needs at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to dove in to the subject and give us you an idea of what's going on. And the rest you learn yourself, and pay yourself, review yourself, whatever it is. That's it. Simple. We're in page 9.
This is the last time.
I don't know. Maybe. First, I have to organize the groups. I can't throw the baby with water without a bath, right? You have to throw the baby out of the water. You have to organize. Everybody has to be organized. Where you learn, what you learn. Okay, you organize. You have a rabbi. Organize shuling. But what about Yoshua Drazen? We're a melech. Rabbi comes along once a week. There's enough for you guys to learn yourself and me once a week. What about Jonathan? You have a charusa. You did this. I did compromise with you. Where you compromise with the yeshiva? If not, it's not finished. Same to you, Aaron. This, that. What are you doing here? What are you part of the yeshiva? In what way you part? And one by one we have to go. Although Baal Tshuva is a lot of individuals, not like yeshiva for Israelis, young kids. It's not a school in a way because the age doesn't fit the school. But we're going to do the best. That this is the main skeleton. Be very flexible, but that has to be the main skeleton of the yeshiva. That's it. 9. Page 9. So let's go over a little bit what the Birka Shmuel said. Birka Shmuel is big chiddush. That nobody argues on this yesoid. That's the big chiddush. If we jumped on Aleph, which because now a sugya yet, because that's the next sugya of Pashto, Kiddushin Bekulo, there the Birka Shmuel comes on to understand that Kiddushin is there's no such thing Kiddushin Bechetzi. And he's Mechadish, the big chiddush of Birka Shmuel is that the Ravid and the Rashba both don't argue this yesoid. This is the yesoid of the sugya. The what? What are you? That's what I said. Yes. So you learn. You open your eyes. That's what you come for a share. You'll learn. You will learn. I'll expect you. Yes, yes. He did. That's not what I said. I said that there's no kiddush lechatzoy. That's what he says. Explain. That's what he did with Shmuel. He's going to show you with his hat to pull the rabbit out of the hat. Listen carefully. Okay, so 1 second, relax and listen. Siyata Nishmai, with El Mamash. As follows. The big Hashem's big chiddush is that everybody's moide, everybody admits in the essence that there's no such thing chatze kiddushin. I'm telling you what he says. Now I'm speaking. Okay? When I finish to speak, you ask me what is inside, I'll show you. I heard your question. I'll give you an answer. But first I want to say what I want to say. I know he says that. He says he doesn't. I also want to hear that. First I want to say what I want to say. I want to say relax. You're jumping the gun without knowing what I'm trying to say. Listen carefully. I have to say, then you can help me. Siyata Nishma with El Mamash. The essence, the big chiddush of the Birka Shmuel is that nobody argues on this yesoid that the mahut, the essence of kiddushin, cannot be in half. This is the yesoid. Now, right away, you will jump and say, wait a second. I have a rabbit. Does the rabbit fit in? Why? Because the rabbit says clearly that if a person says, Iskachi lechetzi veloy lekuli, doesn't say clear, but it's a diuk. And you see from the Rashba's kash on this, so you see that's what he held in the rabbit. Then when the man says, letzi veloy kula would work according to the rabbit. So, what's going on? He says, chetzi works. So how can I say there's no kiddushin lechetzi? Comes the Birka Shmuel and he's mechadish, a big chidush that's a rabbit out of his head. And this chidush explains the whole sugya by Poshta Kedusha Bekulo, which we didn't learn yet. Now explain. That the mahut of kiddushin, if somebody tells to a woman, I want to marry you, today, tomorrow will be no marriage. I want to marry you for one day. Okay? The Gemara says that Rav Nachman,
No,
rabbis
no,
used to travel. He says, "Man, who wants to marry one day? What does that mean? I'll marry one day. I'll divorce you." They says, "How can you marry who that does the divorce?" Okay. They says that he never lived with them. He just to hold his yetzirah, etc. But in concept, when you marry a woman for one day, it doesn't even say you made a t'nai that tomorrow will be finished, will be broken. It doesn't work. Kiddushin doesn't break. Given the one says chal, why he learns from this? Because the mahut of kiddushin is, what is mahut of kiddushin? The maise and the das. This is the big point. The maise of kiddushin, it's a complete maise, and the das of kiddushin is a complete maise. I have only a chetzi woman, for example, chetzi ish, because the other half is a eved, the other half is a shivcha. So I have a complete maise with das bekula, but it's chal and chetzi. That's all what I have. What will be if I marry? Stop. We have an umdana. He only wants chetzi. Doesn't change it. Because the umdana is against the maise. It's like a dibu. The umdana is not better than dibu. When he says chetzi of me, chetzi, it doesn't work. Even if chetzi ish or chetzi me doesn't work. Why? Why doesn't work? Because the mahut is cooler, and the das of the maise kiddushin is uncooler. Wait a second. But he said in his mouth chetzi. So Chazal say when he does a maise kiddushin means an all. But since in his dibu, in his words, only his words, he said shio in his words. So that's why the Torah says such a maise kiddushin, which is an all, and the das is an all. But his words, let me finish. In his words, he said half. The Torah passes it. It's a psul of the Torah if we have a pasuk chetzi isha. And what? The das is an all. It's das bekula. That's what he says. Read it carefully 10 times. You see that what he says. This is what he says. And this is a very, very big chidush. He twists over by saying, don't learn this simply that we have machlokes Rashba and Ravid. That only according to the Rashba there's no kiddush lechatzoy. You cannot mishayir bekinyan. The Ravid says you could mishayir because it's chetzor lekol works. After you heard from the guy with the priest, from the Greeks, from the Greeks. He says, "Ma, Agonamiti. What is Agonamiti? Is mechadish that really they holds the same thing. That really there's no kiddush lechatzoy. Either it says each one. Same as what? There is no maise kiddush lechatzoy. The das and the maise, there's no such thing as chetz. The mahut kiddushin. And this year's soil, there's no difference. One second. I don't know. It says that chetzi, when a person says chetziyai v'loikuloi works, because you know how it works. How come when I say chetziyai v'loikuloi works? Because really, my das, exact, my say and my das is complete. But I said in my dibu, chetzi v'loikuloi. The dibu is paca, they say in Spanish. You know, it's paca. Throw it to the sea. There's no meaning. Because you say, no, explain second. Yes, the question, I'll give you an answer. But really, it's paca, because as if I say, I want to fly with an elephant. Elephant doesn't fly. So you want something that doesn't exist. But let's say it. So first, yes, the question, I'll give an answer first. I'm answering. First of all, when the person says chetzi, very coolly baish, works. When I say his words, he said chetzi very coolly is anam memay kiddushin. Because my kiddushin the das is uncoolly. Can't memay that doesn't work. When I said chetzi very coolly, It's just word paka paka. And finish. I just stop breathing and stop talking, but you jump before I finish. 1 second. Pselig. Yeah, because normally the hot bases have pselig. Yes. So I didn't know the words. Listen. So now, but what before Rashba, we dealing now the Raiva, don't see the Rashba. The Rashba very, very clear because the limud is on both. On both, the Torah says no shiur. Chetzi ish no shiur, chetzi ish no shiur. Not that means what is that no shiur? That another you need a par kiddushin. The limud is that both of them by chetzi ish and chetzi ish, you cannot have shiur, which means if a person says chetzi v'loikula, it doesn't work. One second. This is exactly the point. This is the big rabbit that the big Shmuel came out. The big rabbit is that when the Torah said ish olechetzi isho, ish olechetzi ish, the Torah says, what the Torah said, that when I say chetzi v'loikulu, there's a chalois of chetzi, just the Torah, there was a mice of chetzi, and the Torah knocks it out. The Torah says, no, the chalois is not chetzi. The Torah knocks out such a dibu. Such a dibu is a puzzle dibu. But not that such a mitzvah exists. That's the big chiddush of the Kashmir. Some mitzvah doesn't exist. No. Because the Torah says by your woman chetzi isha, so the Torah meant no shir bekiddushin, which means there's no such thing chetzi kiddushin. So when I say chetzi, I read and the words mean chetzi, and there's no such thing such chetzi. It's paka paka. The Torah cancels it. The Torah cancels it. The Torah cancels it. But when the Torah said ish, when the Torah said ish v'lo chetzi ish, so there, the Torah said ish v'lo chetzi ish. It goes only the Gzeras HaKosov goes on. That you have to be bar kiddushin, and if chetzi even you're not bar kiddushin, but kula you're out. Because the good question. I'm answering you. I said yesterday, Svore, that since the classical case of ish, when he says chetziyai, is that chetzi v'loikul is not a classical case. Casually says chetziyai, and since by classical case when I say chetziyai, you translate means my whole body to two women. So mainly I divert the Gzeras HaKosov to go on. You're not when it says ish v'loikul doesn't go on. When I said the word chetzi, even though I said the word chetzi, I'm not out. I'm not bound out. I'm bound out when I'm not kiddushi. The point is, listen, you're asking and you're not letting me finish the picture. If I cannot paint the picture, how can you paint? Yes, I'm a painter. Yes. When a man says, "Iskachi lechetziai," yes. So let's go over what I said. What do you want to say? Also the Chayvin. But the big chiddush is that you're not. What did I say? Tell me. You know what? Instead of me fighting you, you don't know what I'm saying, so I don't ask questions. Okay. Classical means the normal case. When a Torah says kikach ish, the Torah wants to mafkia chetzi. What's the normal case that when a Torah is mafkia chetzi? When a person says chetzi, or when he specifies chetzi not all. That's what I call classical. Classical means a simple case. Simple case when the Torah says all and not chetzi, it doesn't specify. That's called classical. Got it? Good. So the Ravid says that there's no difference between a man and a woman. There's no such thing chetzi. And when a person says chetzi, the Torah cancels it. Now that there's a chalois and the Torah cancels it, no, there's no chalois on chetzi. When a person says such a language, is out. So by a woman, when a person says chetzi is out. By a man, the Torah says chetzi v'lo kuloi. When the Torah says chetzi v'lo kuloi, I say his words paka paka. And when he said kiddushin, I am a kudeshes, kiddushin means all. When it says chetzi, the turning bound around, the turning through it. Because even when a man says chetzi isha, the Terim say that there doesn't work because it's a chalos and chetzi, and the Terim says such a chalos is no good. The Terim of the chetzi isha that was never chalos, just words, and such words we throw. Such words being a man, we don't throw. We never change the concept and essence that the chetzi kiddush doesn't exist. Not by a man, not by a woman. You got it? Yes. Now you can answer the question. Who says I need to reason? I gave you a reason, but the Bikash one didn't give this reason. He took a fact. The Kashmon took a fact that the Ravid said that the Pasuk ish goes only Chetzi Eved. That's the case. And by a woman, Ish Chetzi goes on Chetzi Isha. So he said, don't mistake from that. That's a big Kiddush. That's a big rabbit of the Kashmon. Don't mistake him from that. By a woman, you can have Chetzi and the Torah bounce it out. By a man, when he says Chetzi, not kuloi, sorry. By a woman, when I say Chetzi, the Torah says no good. By a man, when he says Chetzi, like kuloi works. Means I can have Kiddush and Chetzi. That's not true. By a man, which is different to the woman. No, that's not the pshat. You can never have Kiddush and Chetzi. Not woman. But when you say words which are mekuko, by a woman, the Torah bounce it out. Not there's a chalos and Chetzi. It says Chetziech. He said Chetziech means Chetzi v'loy kuloi when he says Chetziech v'yishu. Even without specifying by woman Chetziech v'loy kuloi means Chetziech. The Torah threw it out not because such a chalois the Torah throws out. The Torah says no such chalois. And such words, the words are canceling it. Milim kainu, milim dibo. But by a man, he says I am a kodesh lechetzis and kiddushin is on all. The dibo and chetzi, such a dibo the Torah says I'm a kalkel. Because the Torah, we don't learn the Torah says ish v'lechetzisha, ish v'lechetzisha to mekalkel such words. Goes to say that chetzi ever is out because he's not about kiddushi. Half is not kiddushi. Now you can answer your question. What? Bayish. Word bayish contra. No, because if there's words kiddushin by definition the das and the ma'aseh all, and we say chetzi, such words chetzi v'leikulo not mekalkel. No, a woman, is not with it, but by a woman there's exactly have to cancel such paka paka. And then we don't make sense. So paka paka works. It says in Michigan stam words. Stam words no kiddushin mahut kiddushin. An elephant cannot fly. So we say out fly doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. And it stays that it means kiddushin as all. I told you the difference. I told you the difference. I told you the difference. No, both of them I'm sugar. Both of them when he says chetzi, it doesn't mean it doesn't take an effect on chetzi. When a person says chetzi, it doesn't matter. I'm answering you. When a person says chetzi, by a man and a woman, it doesn't take effect on chetzi. There's no such thing chetzi. The mahut of kiddush is isurim. There's no such thing chetzi. And the das when I say kiddushin, the das of kiddushin is all. Kiddushin gemurim, complete kiddushin, no chetzi. I cannot hold back in the kiddushin. Now, he says chetzi, and it means chetzi, but he also said kiddushin. The mahut is kiddushin all. So I don't know the word chetzi. The Torah says, throw it out. He said the words after in the end, mekulko, you throw it out. By a man, we don't throw it out because we didn't throw it out. So then I have to make a decision. It's first, the Torah passes it. The woman is a slide. When I give an answer to it, it says, first of all, the Bika Shmuel didn't give an answer on this. On this. He just says, yes, give me an answer. Yeah, give me an answer. Not read it, give me the answer. Okay. Yes. 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 Yes.
No, not- you don't need a teaching
Yes.
about on a mission.
Yes.
Sure, of course, they say in Yeshua, there is no matter of omission.
Right.
That means in half a man, there's no omission.
Right.
A half a man is all, has everything in it. He's not lacking anything. There's no omission there at all in there. Now, so because he could marry another woman, so there's nothing lacking in half a man. Therefore, by a woman, the words, the paka of half a woman is no good, because that paka is a paka of omission, of shield.
Yeah.
But the paka of a man is not a paka of shield, because there's no omission in that. Therefore, it's not excluded. Therefore, the Torah doesn't exclude that. They only exclude Hatziyah.
Okay. He said, wash the water and throw it to the garbage. You know why? Because he says in his words, Chetzi v'lo kuloi. He said, sure, what are you talking about? He says, Chetzi v'lo kuloi. Yes, answer me. I'm not going to how is the kasha megaibit? Answer. You're not answering. Answer, yeah, I'm listening. I'm talking about the gaibit. No.
He should say that you're in the way of the dragon.
Yes.
Is the whole.
But he says not so. His word says Chetzi v'lo kuloi. You want to change his words? In the case when he says Chetzi v'lo kuloi, answering me. No. Yeah, okay. So now you're not straight. I spent waste my time. Give me an answer. You have an answer? Yes. Yes.
Marriage, half a man. That's the man and woman.
You're making your own words. That's what he says inside. He doesn't say that. Shum de'em b'zeh inyan shiur. He says, well, I can marry two women. But when he says,
Marry one woman. One is whole. So a half has a whole. That's by a man. But by a woman, it's not like that. And that's why by a woman, you need the type comes and excludes that evil. But by a man, it doesn't exclude it.
why by a man? There's no concept of shiur. When a person can marry two women, doesn't mean half. It means all for two men. For two women, so how can you learn from that Chetzi ish is empty on its own? That's a jump. That's what he says. That says it means Savachita, marry another woman. Means marry two women, not the Chetzi body. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning Chatzi lav dafka. He says Chatzi is dafka and Chatzi works. Because she can marry two in concept, so therefore even Chetzi, and I say Chetzi v'lo kuloi, it's empty on its own. That's what you're saying? I heard you well. That's what you think the Birkas Shmuel says. Okay, let's continue on. No, I'll explain what I'm saying is that all what you're saying has no meaning. You know why there's no meaning? Because you're coming back to the point that everybody admits to the concept. There's no such thing Chetzi. You just said that by Chetzi ish it is complete. Don't say right when I say wrong. Second, I'm waiting in seconds. Now it's my turn. No. That's the point. The point of the Birkas Shmuel, even if you follow that route, the point of the Birkas Shmuel is this: that in concept there's no such thing Chetzi Kiddushin, and everybody admits to that. That's all we said. Doesn't matter if long as keeping what you say, which I don't know, doesn't make sense to me. But even if, and it doesn't see in the words, it's the same Yesoid. That this the biggest, that's the rabbit of, this is the rabbit of the Birkas Shmuel took off his hat. The big Kiddush is that in essence, there's no such thing Chetzi Kiddush. Nobody argues on that. And the prior to this is based. If no Kiddush is, when the Gemara says Posto, it's not on the Maisa Kiddush and the Dasa Kiddush, it's only on the Dibo. That's his big Kiddush. He mainly wants to now turn over that Ivan and Ashur both are the same. They must hold the same. Otherwise, that's fella's point. That since there's no such thing Chetzi Maisa Kiddushim, the Das is on all, the Maisa is on all. So then the Raj was very good. There's a problem with Chetzi. The Raj would say, there's no such thing Chetzi, and the woman the Drosh is on Chetzi wasn't in Chetzi. Now that is Chalois on Chetzi, and the Torah says it's no good. That when I do a Maisa Kiddushin on Chalois on Chetzi, the Torah knocks it out. No, the Torah says there's no Chalois on Chetzi, and that's why it's out. Because I said words are wrong. That's why you out. So you knock out the Dibu, not the Maisa, because Maisa is on all. No such thing on all. When I do a Maisa Kiddushin on all, I said Chetzi by Yisrael means Chetzi. That's what my words mean. And such words, the 10 apostles. Even though the Maisa says a Maisa Kuloi, Dibu was Messiah. So they were 10 apostles such a Maisa was such Dibu. 1 second, by a man, when the person says Chetzi, and he says, Holy Kuloi, or Stam Chetzi, we say the Maisa is on Kuloi because Maisa is on Kuloi. Right? And such words of Shiur, when his Dibu says Chetzi, he says Chetzi Loi Kuloi, they didn't back out such Dibu. Why? He wants to say because it's cool. He doesn't say that. He's telling him not such Dibu. Telling him that. The according to everyone, with the nice that's the point. This is the main point. We want to say over.
We take the word Chetzi seriously, and in the case of the man, we take his word like Fakakak. That's what we hope.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. By a woman, we always take, by a woman and by a man, we take his words paka paka. But he said words which are mafriya, mekulkal. The Torah says when we say chetz isho lechetz isho, so he says mekulkal, we did a maisa bekuloi and das bekuloi, but he said in his words chetzi. So when we say such mekulkal words, the Torah throws out such a maisa kiddushin. But by a man, when he says mekulkal words, we didn't say that. Because we say the drosh is not on that. Seems the classical case, the normal case where it says chetzi. The normal case of chetzi, I can explain it. It means kuloi. So he made it the drosha. That's such mekulko words with a good maise and good das. When mekulko words doesn't go in the middle of works. That's what I mean. Because already to do. So chetzi means all. The trick. It's not saying that. It's just wrong what you say. Yes, Rebbe. 1 second. Yes, Rebbe. I'm going to hear you. Yes, Rebbe. That's good. Fire of Torah.
So it means the reason that the man can marry 2 women, and the reason that the woman to take a that's
correct. That's the reason why the drosha. That's the reason why Chacham understood that the drosha by Isha goes to knock out when he says chetzi, and the drosha by Ish or chetzi doesn't knock out when he says chetzi lekuloi. Comes to knock out not by kiddushin chetzi evet. That's all.
To say that the people in the woman case is mekulkal, and that is to say that the people in the man is not mekulkal.
There's no drosha that doesn't knock out. No, it is mekulkal, but doesn't knock out the ma'aseh. Since the ma'aseh kiddush is on kuloi, the das is kuloi. Even though he said mekulkal words in the middle, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt us. He says, "I want to marry you. I want to fly and to the moon." He said stupid words also. This is the pshat of the Birkas Shmuel. Okay. Rabbi Hanania, I heard what you said. I don't think so. And I answer you why I don't think so. Because you're not explaining in Svara how come by Chetzi Isha it's a stira to Chetzi, and by Chetzi Isha it's not stira to Chetzi. Because the fact I can marry two women, that's when my whole body can marry two women. But to say that I say Chetzi v'lo kuloi, that Chetzi turns to kol, that's a chiddush. That's something nobody said. It's against logic. No, the drosha says the drosha doesn't go. He just said the drosha, what? Exactly. That's the point. Yes.
In the Ish.
Yes.
You have the drosha that the mitzvah of Chatzi Ebed.
Yes.
Chatzi Ben Kohen that can make courage.
Yes. Right.
In the Ish, there's no mitzvah of Chatzi Ish.
Right.
So
The nakada dibo, and by Gavra that the simple words of Chetzia can mean kuloi. So I said the drosha goes on not by bar chiyuv but kuloi. I have a case when I say Chetzi v'lo kuloi, I give her to. But the drosha goes on it. Once the drosha didn't go on it, I'm not a drosha against it. The mice is a mice complete. The das is complete. What he said is Michigan is some words. That's the pshat. This is the simple word. Okay. If I say like you, let me repeat what you said, if I understood you. Yes, go ahead. No, I want to explain you that don't think I don't understand you. You learned Pshat B'Ka Shmuel that the Torah said, Ish v'lo chetzi ish, it goes on, lo bar kiddushim, and doesn't go on chetzi v'lo kuloi, because there's no such thing chetzi. Because since a man in concept are married to a woman, so when he says chetzi, it's like kuloi, it's the mahut of kuloi. Chetzi is just kuloi. That's what you said. Oh, so you're not saying that's a, so it's worse. So I don't hear Pshat B'Ka. Yes? 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 That's what you said. So I said complete issue. I know I heard clear. I heard very clear. Okay, I disagree all the time. Disagrees. No, disagree. I was talking about it. Disagree. Yes, Papa. Yes. Open up because Shmuel, you really from because Shmuel. This is the Russians. The Havana de la Casa. Both are both for the Zalko, sort of here by television.